This Xbox was sent in by a viewer who said one of his friends broke the HDMI port. So the viewer who sent it sent it to a repair shop, and the repair shop charged him $150, but made it worse. The repair shop then sent it to Microsoft, who also said that they couldn't fix it, or I guess I should say wouldn't fix it since it wasn't under warranty. And I don't take consoles in for repair very often that I repair and send back, but I told this viewer I would do it because it's such a good rip-off story. I can see that the repair shop peeled the sticker off. Also, I don't know what's going on here. This is all melted right here. I don't know what that's about. It does look like they have a new HDMI port installed, but it doesn't work, so we've got to tear this all down and see what exactly is going on there. So we'll just peel this up. Since it's already been peeled up once, it's pretty easy to peel up again. Now, the viewer did say that the repair shop that he first took it to, that they haven't refunded him yet, but it sounded like he needed to go talk to him. I'm not sure what talking there is to do. I mean, if you're a repair shop and you don't fix something that someone's paying you to fix, unless there's something I'm not understanding here, they should be offering to refund him. The viewer did say that Microsoft refunded him, and I would hope they would do that. Whoa, that got really hot. What in the world? I have never seen this before. Like, that is just scorched and charred, and so that got so hot that it actually melted the case right here. What would have caused that? I feel like, oh yeah, there's a big problem right down there. So we're gonna have to check that out. I've never seen that before though. That is crazy. Somebody really screwed up. All right, let's get this thing the rest of the way apart. Now I am also using Linus Tech Tips' new screwdriver set. They did send me one, and it has my name TronicsFix on the bit driver, which is cool. But just trying it out today, see how I like it. Let me know in the comment section if you have one, what you think of it, and if you want me to see like a review comparing this one to like iFixit's kit. I know there are some out there online already, but let me know if you're interested in my opinion about it. And now with all of this disconnected, we can slide it up and out, just like that. Now before we go and get that motherboard out, let's take a look at this cable down here. Well, in this whole board, we gotta check out and see if anything is burned or anything on the board. That much heat going through that cable is not a good thing. This cable is just totally stuck to this plastic. The plastic is melted into the case right here. This is crazy. It's so fused that I can't even get that up right there. Ah, there we go. Okay, so here we go. I don't actually immediately see any problems on this board, which is kind of surprising with the amount of heat that took. But so far, it's okay. This cable though, like, look at this thing. So much heat went through this. That's crazy. Now we got to get a bunch of components off of this board. We have to check out the HDMI port, but we also have to check out this connector right here. That's what caused a lot of the problem. So let's get these parts off of it and check it out and see if we can figure out what exactly has gone wrong and what all needs to be fixed. Wow, look at this. Even on this power supply, totally melted right there. And don't see any bird marks or anything. I'm looking for something that's burned down in here too, just because it's crazy that that much voltage went through or current went through that one part. And now with the power supply off, we can get this plate off. Nothing too crazy going on in there that I see. And we can get this board off. Remove this big old cable right here. And then we can lift this off and have a look at the other side. And nothing too crazy. So this is gonna need to be replaced. We'll take a look at that under the microscope in a minute, but we need to get this big piece off and have a look at the board underneath and also see if they applied the perfect amount of thermal paste, and I think we already know the answer to that question. So this will just come off just like that, and it looks like at least they remembered the X clamp, and none of these guys are burned out. Okay so far. I'm gonna remove this clamp and have a look at the thermal paste. I almost forgot too. I can already see traces ripped off of behind this HDMI port, which I was fully expecting. That's what always happens on these when inexperienced techs try to repair them. Yeah, we don't have the perfect amount of thermal paste, that's for sure. But what we do have is a whole lot of thermal paste. And just judging by the looks of it, it looks like they just put new thermal paste over the old thermal paste. I never like doing that. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna clean off all of the thermal paste, at least on the contact surfaces, and then apply fresh thermal paste. You can see a little more what was going on with the HDMI port up here, but we're gonna have some work to do on the other side. Let's clean up this thermal paste and get that replaced first. And cleaning off the thermal paste on the heatsink, I don't believe what I'm seeing here. This is insane. Look at all these scratches. What did they use to remove this? A pickaxe? What exactly is happening here? I don't know what, like they would have had to take a screwdriver and scrape this off or something. And what sucks is there's no really good way to fix this other than to just replace it. Now, if you put thermal paste on here, like it would be fine. It likely wouldn't cause much of a problem. Maybe not even a problem at all, because thermal paste is really good at filling in all of these imperfections, all of these scratches. But at the same time, it's always gonna be good to have a nice flat surface without all of these scratches in it. So I think what I'm gonna do is try and just replace this. I think I have some more of these around. So I'll just put a new heatsink on this while I'm putting it back together. So if you're cleaning off a heatsink, instead of looking like this, it should look like this. And now we're almost ready to apply the perfect amount of thermal paste, but we gotta check out this HDMI port first. And no surprise here, pretty much all of these pins are disconnected, not soldered on. They didn't solder a single one of these pins on. We also have a bunch of these torn off, these two for sure, this one for sure, this one for sure. I feel like probably all these pads are torn off, which is not what I like to say, because that's gonna be a big job. But let's get this old HDMI port off and then see what kind of damage on the board we have. And pretty much just exactly what I suspected. There is a lot of damage on this board. Why do I always take these jobs? I'm pretty sure the viewer who sent this in was like, yeah, I think there's like 5 or 6 pads torn off. More like 18. So this pad right here is the only one out of all of these it's actually there. Oh man. And the funny thing is, this is a ground pad, and if this one was torn off, it would still work just fine. But it is what it is. I'm gonna install a new port, and then I have to fix every single one of these little tiny wires. And just for reference, that is a normal sized grain of rice. So we got some tiny work to do here. To install the new port, I'm gonna heat from the bottom, and then once this solder melts that I'm heating right now, I'm gonna put the port right up through those mounting holes and then let the solder solidify, and we'll be ready to turn it over and do the tedious work. Now this takes a long time to heat, and this is the mistake a lot of people make with these, is they don't get enough heat on the board. And probably what happened when the shop that tried to repair this first, what they did is they heated up the board to get the port off, but they didn't get it hot enough. And they're like, man, this port isn't coming off. Let's just put some pressure on it and pull it off. So they pulled it off, which worked great to get the port off, but also took all of the pads on the board with it, which is not the goal here. I'm gonna get a bunch of heat on this. You can see the solder moving when I move my hot air over it, just a little bit. Tells me that it is melted. So now we'll come in and put the port up through. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. You can see the legs sticking up through, so we know the port is on. And I'm gonna let the solder solidify. Then I'm actually gonna put some pressure on this and then heat it all up again to make sure that port is all the way through the board. Okay, now we'll flip it over and do the fun stuff. Now we have the port installed, and I freely admit this looks kind of like a mess, but that's because I have a lot of flux soaking the board. So what I did is I ground away little sections of the solder mask off of some of the wires that are attached to the board. And then I'm gonna run another wire from each of these little pins to each of these little spots on the board that I've ground off some of the solder mask. I've also tinned them, which means that I've heated them up with a soldering iron and added a little bit of solder to each of these places right here. And that's where I'm gonna solder the wires to. So I'm gonna do the first one on camera so you can see what I'm talking about, and then I'll probably do a bunch off camera because that gets kind of boring to watch. So the first thing we need to do is burn off some of the enamel off of this wire that I'm using to rebuild these traces. So just doing that with my soldering iron. There we go, that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna come over here to this first pad, line up the wire, and bring my soldering iron down and solder that onto there. And we'll come over here and find where that goes. Just about right there. So again, we'll burn off the enamel. The enamel coating just helps the rest of the wire not connect to anywhere it shouldn't. So it's super helpful because we're gonna have a lot of these wires close together. And if it doesn't have enamel on it, then any wires that touch will then create a connection. And that can be bad because that will connect different circuits on the board that do not need to be connected. And once we have that done, just come over here and cut it off with some side cutters. And our first trace is done. Now I just have to do that about 18 more times and then we'll be done. Actually, honestly, there's a number of ground traces that don't need to be attached, so not quite 18, but quite a few. And here we have all of those circuit traces repaired. I've taken a wire and connected every pin to every place that it goes on the board, except for this one. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do this one. So one of the things about this board is that some of these pins, like these two, actually connect to the other side of the board. And honestly, the best way to do that is to repair the trace under the HDMI port. But I didn't do that and I forgot about that until I was most of the way done with this. So I'm running the traces on top of the board from here, around here, over to the other side. So I'm gonna show you the other side of the board and then I will solder this wire on. You can see I've already done several of the wires. So this one is gonna go right around here and connect right to this resistor right here. So I'm gonna get that soldered on now. Now, as I was doing this repair, I started thinking about the things that weren't really adding up. First of all, why would a repair shop be this terrible at a repair? And especially, I mean, I sort of understand the traces coming off thing because that's a really hard thing to get right. But when I saw the heat sink and just the amount of scratching that was on that, I just started wondering more and more about this repair shop. And then in addition, why would a repair shop send this to Microsoft under warranty when they would very well know it wasn't under warranty? It hasn't been under warranty for like 3 years. So I started thinking more about this and I decided to email the person that sent it and ask the name and the phone number of the repair shop they sent it to. And their response was, I was thankfully able to get my money back from them. I talked to them. I've been fully refunded now. They thought they refunded me originally, but it's all good now with them. So the person that sent it to me didn't want to give me the name of the repair shop and the phone number. So I pressed them a little bit more for the name of the shop and the phone number, and they gave me the name of a repair shop and also a phone number. So I quickly did a reverse phone number search and found that the phone number that they gave me was their own phone number. So essentially they were giving me the name of the repair shop because the repair shop was actually them. So now in the middle of fixing this board, I've become very aware that the person that sent this in is actually scamming me. They lied about how many traces were torn off, they lied about the repair shop, they lied about the repair shop name and phone number, and they lied about the repair shop giving them a refund. But the question is, what do I do now? What would you do now? I can either be bitter and make their life difficult, I could even call them out in this video. Or I could choose to move on, make a great video, and take the high road. I don't think there's enough of that going on in the world right now, so that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm making the choice to be kind to someone who doesn't deserve it, with the hopes that they'll learn more from that than getting what they truly do deserve. And with that all being said, it's time for the perfect amount of thermal paste. There we go. Now the next thing we need to do is remove this bad connector from the board and install a brand new one. To do that, I'm going to heat from the bottom of the board until all of this solder melts, and this will basically just fall right off the board. And then I'll come in with a new one and solder all of these points on, and then we'll be done. And there we go, with this connector soldered on. We got all these pins soldered on solidly. Everything looks good. The push button lock works great. Well, let's get this thing back together. I think to really fix this one correctly, we're gonna need to put on a new shell. Now this isn't a brand new shell. It's one I have sitting around in my storage bin. So this is the one I'm gonna use. The other one, if you remember, had the melted spots on it, so we're gonna install this one instead. Okay, all plugged in. Let's see if it turns on. We got the power button, we got the white light, we got a black screen. There we go. Let's test the disk drive. There we go. Takes it in, spins up. There we go. And it does also even display in 4K. So whether it was deserved or not, and clearly it's not, this Xbox is all fixed up. If you want to see a video where I tried to fix a game console that was sent to an actual repair shop who actually messed it up worse, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now so you can come hang out with me over there and see what all the repair shop did to it. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.